Thanks for joining us, guys. We got Jack Carlisle and Caitlin McCurry.
McCurry. Caitlin McCurry.
both from Camp Chef. Wow, it's been a long day. Both from Camp Chef, guys. Some of my favorite stuff. So we're really excited to have them on. We're going to talk a lot about Camp Chef things, but we're also going to talk about outdoor cooking in general. Dutch ovening. I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah.
I would like to talk about cooking outdoors, camping with like an Explorer, which is what I have. We can just get into all that. We can answer your questions too, guys. So feel free to answer put them as many questions, and we'll answer them the best that we can. And we'll go from there, guys. We'll keep it free flowing, but that's kind of this topic today. So, but don't feel free if you want to jump in and you hear something kind of a little off topic, that's totally fine too. Nothing is out of, this is just, this is a free for all. It's like a brawl, Yeah. So, cool. Well, let's get started. Jack, do you want to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are?
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm my name's Jack Carlisle. I got the awesome job of being the chef for Camp Chef, so it's pretty sick. I feel pretty fortunate, and to know nobody else can have it. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I do. I just kind of go around and I do demos, teach classes, do YouTube videos, a little bit of recipe development, that kind of thing. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Cool. How did you get that gig? Did you go to school or something like that for like chefing, or just chef all the time?
Dude, I'm totally self-taught. My mom was a great scratch cooker from all growing up, so I kind of learned a lot from my mom. And then my wife is also a great scratch cooker, and I learned a lot from her. And I just kind of picked it up and started doing it and having fun with it. We built a wood-fired oven in our backyard, and kind of got me the bug of cooking with fire. Started cooking on Camp Chef stuff probably about 28 years ago, and man, just enjoyed it and feel very fortunate that I can do it from make a living at it. So
that's awesome.
Camp Chef, Camp Chef actually used to come into our restaurant. We had a wood-fired oven pizzeria here in Logan, Utah, and that's how I got to know the fellows at Camp Chef. So they started to hire me out as contractor to come do events for them, and eventually they're like, "Hey, let's just do this full time." I'm like, "Done."
Right.
And then we
That's
found
awesome.
Caitlin. That was the best thing. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. Caitlin is my
right.
Yeah, whatever. She's the one that backs me up like crazy.
So we all know Caitlin. Caitlin's been on the podcast. She's been on here. It's her second appearance. But let's introduce you anyway. But in the format, the Camp Chef world, tell us about yourself and your involvement in Camp Chef.
So I do some fun contract work. Me and Jack have got to work a lot together. We've got to go and teach a bunch of classes. I've got to do some fun videos, like the Thanksgiving turkey sides, all that fun stuff. My love for Camp Chef has been well before even the pellet grills came out. Their core items, and like I've always loved the camping aspect of everything, and so it's hard to read comments and focus. I've always really appreciated their products. And then when they came into the pellet grill game, I was like, game over. Like I was all in. And it's funny because Susie Bullock was the one that was like, you should check these out. And I was like, wait, they have a pellet grill? And once I started with that adventure, like everything Camp Chef, I love it.
Camp Chef was like, you should check these out.
I got some feedback.
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah, me.
Woo.
He's recording and playing
it's
it
the old
back.
guy trying to figure out how to run this stuff. I was trying to share it on my Facebook page, but obviously I don't know how to do that.
The thing that popped out is a DVD player, not a drink holder. Let's just start.
Oh man.
No, so
yeah, that's great.
I just dove right in when the opportunity came up to kind of hop under Jack's wing and do some awesome cooking and some demos and stuff with him. It like the timing in my life could not have been more perfect. I've been mom for so many years, having babies, raising babies, and then the time came for me to do me. Like I get to do what I love to do, and the opportunity's been amazing for me. And I just jumped in with both feet, and I'm just wanting to run with it. It's been awesome.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
Anthony, you just got kind of you've got a couple of things Camp Chef now. Tell us about what you think. What do you got?
I got a few things. Actually, let's get started. I've been using Camp Chef for probably close to 15 years or so. Started off in their Dutch oven stuff, and then they came out with this sweet hot water camp shower. I love that for sure. Especially being, I don't know how many times I just stuck that sucker in a river, just pumped out hot water, and was able to take a shower next to a creek. So that was awesome. And then recently, I got a special delivery from Camp Chef, and they sent out 2-burner stove, a flat top, big pots for deep frying, a cast iron deep fryer, a flat top for the burner. Like, there's quite a bit of stuff on there. I love it all. I'm slowly working through it, and I think Rusty should definitely try to figure out how to get one of those flat tops.
How many SKUs does Camp Chef have, Jack?
I don't know. Probably over 300, I'm sure.
They have so many awesome products.
I'll go out in the warehouse and I'll be rummaging through, and I'm like, "What? I had no idea we had this. What is this? Why didn't somebody tell me I had this? This is awesome."
Their catalog to me is better than a jewelry catalog. I'm just like, yes.
Ooh, like I picked up a bunch of cast iron stuff. Well, a couple cast iron things from them, and the Explorer. And that's what I thought. That was like the base. I thought, okay, that's what Camp Chef has. That's cool. No. Like it seems like every single time I'm getting on there, there's something. I'm like, they have that. That's awesome. And then Caitlin made that Mississippi pot roast, and she used that freaking sweet. Like, what was that? It was like
the square or the oblong.
Oblong.
Yes,
that thing is now my favorite thing. So I use it literally once a week. My thing this year is pot roast.
Yes.
So I'm making pot roast every weekend. And I want to make the best pot roast ever because that's my favorite.
I was going to pull it out. Mine's right there.
Yeah, I won one of those at the chili cook-off that I would have beat Rusty at if he would have shown up anyway. So
yeah, where were you, Rusty?
I got cold feet. My soy soya, they didn't show up, and that was my secret ingredient. So there you go. I got nervous. I did. It's true. I didn't have one ingredient, and I was going to go anyway, and I got nervous. I practiced that freaking chili 50 times, and I checked it out. Really, that's what it was. I checked it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We definitely got to do it. That was so much fun. That was a blast.
That was a ton of fun. My feet I've never had such frozen feet in my life, but the entire event was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
And it was fun, it was fun to see everyone using their double burners, their cast iron, their Camp Chef gear.
It was so cool.
They don't even realize they're using a Camp Chef item. And they're like, oh, I've had this for like 10, 15 years. And you're like, right on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Caitlin, one of my favorite stories of some of our adventures we've been on, when we did that fire down in Payson, we cooked for all those people. Yeah. And I pulled up in the Camp Chef van and trailer. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's huge. It's a billboard going down the street. But we pulled in about 8:00, and there was about 6 or 7 scout troops out there cooking for the folks that had been displaced by the fire, and they're all cooking on Camp Chefs, and everybody's like, "Yeah, Camp Chef!" And rolling in there. It was like, man, I felt like a rock star.
I know. We're like, it was so fun.
That was pretty cool.
Such a cool experience.
But it's so crazy how many people actually, when I'm out there on the street and how many people we talk to, and everybody's got just an amazing story about how they're using and cooking outdoors and spending time with their family. That's what it's really all about. Just having a great time out there.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Rob just said you paid off the judges, so
yeah,
Rob
maybe.
was one of the judges.
I didn't pay enough. Obviously, I lost to a white chili at a chili contest. So
white chili, good.
It was that white chili was great that day. It was on point.
So,
But,
like outside cooking. So, right, like, what do you guys? What is your? So, you guys use the pellet. What is something weird? And let's keep in the Camp Chef vein that you guys use that maybe not a lot of people use because there's so much different stuff. What is one thing that you like that isn't very popular when it comes to like outdoor cooking? Maybe even particularly Camp Chef that you enjoy working with, like that freaking oblong thing. That's cool, stuff like that.
Yeah. You go first, Jack. I'll pull out my oblong and show the chili.
Okay. I think probably the one that whoa, that's noisy.
Yes, it is. Almost there.
We have that 14-inch pizza pan that Camp Chef makes. It's a really shallow, pizza pan, and I use that thing daily basis. In fact, it never leaves my stovetop. I just treat it like a flat top
Really?
right on my
Do you use
stovetop.
it for pizza? Do you use it for anything else?
I just use it for everything. Once in a while, we use it for pizza, but most of the time, it's I do burgers on it. I do omelets on it. I did that smoked mustard the other day on it. I mean, I use that thing.
That was amazing. That was amazing. You guys need to go and find Jack's page and look up that recipe. That's nuts.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Do you have it, Caitlin? Do you have it there now? Do you can show the people?
Yeah.
Did you show it already?
This is the lid to the oblong,
That's what I'm talking about.
which is awesome because the lid also, I use that quite a bit. Like I'll do like hash browns in this, and it's nice because the cast iron will hold its heat. I love this dish. And what's awesome is they all come pre-seasoned. You don't have to sit and worry about them so much, but it's huge. It's like 12 pounds empty. So when you fill it up with food, you're like buff. That's my square. Yeah.
But it's good, like when you do that, you don't think about the lid as a cooker. It is, in a lot of cases.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's something you can just flip over. It's not going to hurt anything,
No.
and you can cook anything on it. Like you said, hash browns, whatever you want. I actually I think it's a Camp Chef one, and I use it for bread. And it's the lid I can substitute as I flip it over, and it's a little frying pan. It's awesome.
It's perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a lot of versatility for sure.
I love that series that you're talking about, Rusty. That one's an awesome pan.
So I was on the keto diet. I'm no longer, so I can make bread. So
Yes.
I just got some flour. I'm so excited to start making my sourdough bread again. Oh my gosh. I can't be keto on this thing. I can't. I'm just no way.
You can't be in quarantine without carbs. I was trying to keto it, and then this all hit the fan, and I'm like, give me sugar, give me carbs, or I'm going to murder someone.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. I totally
Vanilla
fell off the
knows
wagon.
Yeah. I fell off the wagon and under the truck. It's all good.
I got run over by the 18-wheeler behind it too. So
Totally. Guys, the pools aren't going to be open this year, so who cares?
oh man,
I've been home with Mama Julie, and Julie's been cooking up some serious sourdough. Oh my gosh, she's been. We've had sourdough waffles. We did sourdough English muffins yesterday. We just did sourdough bread for dinner. Oh my gosh, it's been amazing. It's been awesome.
your guys' lives that you've been putting up are awesome.
Ah,
Awesome.
thanks. They're fun. They're scary.
Yeah.
They scare me, but they're fun.
Rusty, you've been missing out on those since you had to work
No, I've been watching
lately. Oh, have you?
some of them. Yeah,
Oh,
like
actually,
I think they're in your kitchen, right, Jack? At home.
Yeah, kitchen or on the back patio. Or not really back patio. I'm in the middle of remodeling my backyard, so my backyard mess. But yeah,
Yeah.
fun.
Cool. I watch those. Yeah, I do. I try to jump in because I like to learn stuff like that. Like especially because Jack, you've been doing a lot of things in, like I think you did a stock and a couple other things, and
Yeah.
things you can learn. That's really cool. So,
Yeah.
For sure.
Rob, I'll take it, man. Get one going. If I can't get this one going, it doesn't take. I'll have to hit you up because I think I'm gonna get my sourdough live.
Right.
And then Chad,
What is it?
more than you
Yeah.
to win? That's what happened because I think his wife won. Chad Benella. Yeah. So
Yeah, they were awesome. That was
They
a fun
took
contest.
first and third.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Chad, yep, because they entered 2 chilies. They took first, Anthony took second, and then they took third. They killed it. Chad, you guys are awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
Rusty had no
They
shot.
were awesome.
Yeah.
No shot.
Not with
Not with the vanillas there.
Nope.
to rip it out. It's gonna be fun. It was a good one. I liked it.
I've been
One
talking
of
a
these
lot
days.
of trash about this, so I'm in trouble if I lose next year. Or this year.
One of these
So that's
days, I need to
not
get brave enough to compete.
Yeah.
You would kill it, Jack.
I don't know. It scares me.
Oh, don't be scared.
Me
Caitlin,
too.
you should do
Yeah,
it.
Caitlin. No.
No.
You
Yeah,
guys are fine. Don't compete. You're great. Just take, no need to do ancillaries. There's no need to do crazy things.
I just want to judge. I just
Yeah.
want to eat the food and enjoy it. I get intimidated for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
part of
but
the
one of the things that of Camp Chef that I use that I feel it's super underrated is the pizza oven that I bring. Like we bring it with us when we go camping, or I use it on my back porch, and we make little individual pizzas and we cook it when we're camping, and that is so fun for my kids. Like they absolutely love how they get to create, watch it cook, they get to pull it out. And there's a lot more satisfaction when my kids are involved with what they're cooking. And so we do it on our back porch. We do it while we're camping. They love it.
Nice. I cheat a
Yeah.
little bit when I make pizzas. I just buy the naan bread. And
That
then
stuff's
just,
so good. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
and then
shame there.
yeah, and then I just put the toppings on there, throw it in whatever cooker I'm using at the time, and it's done like twice as fast. I don't have to wait for the dough.
Yeah. What I found I really like to do though, like when I bring my pizza oven with us camping, I can cook like it is bringing an oven with me. We do biscuits and gravy. I can cook my biscuits in my cast iron pans in my pizza oven. And
So
it's got
good, right?
that. It's amazing. It's
So
the
good.
best. Yeah. And like, honestly, I prefer like a deep dish pizza in a skillet in my pizza oven. It's insane. You do a bunch of garlic butter and then put the dough in that and then cook it in your
Oh.
pizza oven. It's insane. So I have a double pizza oven and I have a single pizza oven, and I have probably a dozen single skillets. So we have pizza parties with my brothers and they come over with their kids and everyone makes their own pizzas. Everyone brings toppings and we just have a smorgasbord and we sit outside and we cook the pizzas, and it's awesome because it brings us together. We all get to participate. There's a lot of satisfaction in it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. So where
It's-
does that pizza oven go? Can it go on the side of the smokers, on the double burners?
It can
Do it by
go
itself?
right if you have a sidekick on your pellet grill, not a sear box, but if you have a sidekick, it can go right on top of that. And if you have your 2-burner stove, your pizza oven goes right on top of that. And that's like you can do a single burner or a double burner pizza oven. And it's important to know if it's a 14-inch system or a 16-inch system so that you get the right size of pizza oven, because there's 2 different systems that Camp Chef offers. But it's so fun. Yeah, like it's awesome.
Sounds
I
like I
love
need
that
one.
thing. It's super fun.
Yeah. My phone was listening to me and it just pulled up Camp Chef pizza oven. Oh, that's creepy. Creepy.
So
Yeah.
you're a fan of Kent Rollins, Caitlin.
Oh, I love Kent Rollins.
So when you're doing the when you get a Camp Chef Dutch oven, he suggests like with lodges and stuff to kind of skewer them out like with
Yeah.
a blender. Would you suggest someone, if they first got a Camp Chef oven, would you suggest someone doing that, or do you think it over time it's fine because they're not I don't feel like I find they're as gritty as a lodge. So
Yeah, that's the truth. I've had my Camp Chefs, I don't sand them when I first get them. All I've simply done with every cast iron that I've got from Camp Chef is I've run it under super hot water and gotten any of the factory greases out before I've cooked with it. I'll get it on the heat source, I'll apply the oil, I'll rub it down, wipe out the oil, and then I'll cook with it. And like I said before, I won't put food in a cold cast iron. I like it to get warmed up so those pores don't bond with my food. But I've never felt the need to, and I felt over time it's gotten better and better. Like, yeah, and I do use mine quite a bit, and whether it's a salt scrub or just a little hot water and scrub it up, it hasn't ever needed to be stripped and re-seasoned on mine.
Because the two I use mine for is pot roast, and I've never had a problem. The other one's bread, and I obviously don't have a problem. So
Yeah.
I haven't used it for Dutch ovening yet. But
Yeah. I think as long as you've got a good source of fat or oil, you always set that down first. And that's just give it that, I was going to say lubrication. Give it that coating. I don't know. What do you think? Jack is awesome. Pineapple on pizza. Yes, please.
Yeah,
I love that.
yes, I'm a yes
So-
on only on Canadian bacon pizza.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
My
So Jack-
my,
Yeah.
No pepperoni.
my theory on the the pineapple pizza is I just have to show everybody my P&L statement from my pizza restaurant and see how well pineapple sells on pizza. Definitely
He's
my
talking about a
highest seller
profit
by
loss
3 times.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
So we
Here's
did
the
it.
thing. Here's the thing. Yeah, it's freaking pineapple. It's delicious. Put it on pizza, man. Put whatever the heck you want on pizza. Food's supposed to be
Exactly.
good. No,
Leftover
I don't care about your stupid band shirt you got before they were cool. All right, eat what's good. Period.
Man, I totally agree. So this
Anyway,
is a cool pizza. I gotta tell you about this pizza though. You guys will get a kick out of this pizza. This is how I actually learned how to barbecue and smoke stuff. I actually had a pizza. It was a barbecue pulled pork pizza, and it had jalapenos on it, barbecue sauce, and pineapple. And it was phenomenal. But I was buying my barbecue pork from a food vendor, and I was like, "There's got to be a better way." Guys from Camp Chef come in. I'm like, "Hey, man, you guys got a smoker? I want to try learning how to smoke." I make everything from scratch anyway. I might as well make my own. So they brought me in a smoke vault, man. Kudos to Smoke Vault. So I just started cooking my pork butts, and we got to where we were cooking 8 pork bucks a week just for pizza topping. And then we'd pickle our own jalapenos and, man, make our own barbecue. That is legit pizza.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
So
going back
that's
to
how
the-
I got into smoking.
The seasoning part of the Dutch ovens. What do you do to season yours?
So you got to take it back to what cast iron is, and it's very porous. It's a porous metal, and so if you think in thoughts of pores, I'll actually use soap and water. I know I'm probably gonna get tons of hate mail for this, but I've been using my cast iron for 30 years. I use soap and water in it, but if I do use soap and water, I got to realize that is in those pores. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat that up. It's going to
Exactly.
evaporate all that out of there, and then I'm going to put some oil in it. And when that starts to cool back down, it's going to suck that back into the pores, and it's going to lubricate everything.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
just got to know about those pores and what to do with them. Generally, in my house, we only use cast iron, and it's just scrape clean. Unless I do have something serious on there that I've got to wash for, but generally 90% of the time I'm just scraping it, and
Yeah.
little coat of oil, and off we're rolling again.
I
But-
find like with the Mississippi pot roast or something tomatoey, I'm gonna get hot water and I'm gonna get soap. And then my drying process, it's upside down in my oven, heat, and then I oil it up. So it's essentially kind of like a re-seasoning. But that's only, if I've got
Yeah.
something
Yeah, with the
pepperoncinis.
aesthetics. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything with
and you're-
tomato based, anything aesthetic is what
Yeah.
I talked about that earlier. Like that's the only time I will actually break it down and then rebuild the whole patina back
For
up.
sure. Yeah.
I'm not scared of water on my cast iron either. I rinse
Yeah.
it off all the time. As long as
You
you
know,
heat it
you-
up, you have to heat it up.
The steam method works really well. I mean, just steam it and clean it, and yeah.
Yep.
Once you, I just find that people are just really scared of it. There's so much out there. People are like, you're gonna ruin your cast iron. You're not gonna ruin that cast iron. I've had people completely destroy my cast iron in the restaurants, and you just bring them right back, right? I mean, that's the beauty of them. So
And I think it's intimidating because my first time using a cast iron was a little kid. I picked one. I wanted to cook, and so I wanted to use my mom's pots. She told me not to because of the enamel on them, and they were nonstick, and I would ruin it. So this old Lodge or whatever I had, I don't even remember what it was back then. Maybe it was a Griswold, and I just totally threw it away for no reason. But it would stick. Everything would stick. Everything would stick, and I couldn't figure out why, and I hated it. And so I hated cast iron for the longest time. I never ever got one. I was just so mad. But then I settled down. I'm like, okay, I have one now. I'm going to learn how to use it. And once I learned how to use it and season it, and like Caitlin says, like you said, Jack, don't start with a cold pan. You got to warm that up. And it's kind of intimidating for people because first time you throw a bacon in there, you're like, well, bacon's grease. Why is there so much bacon left over? Or why is my egg not sticking like it's supposed to? And on and on and on. But they don't understand it takes work and care, and it's hard, because after every single time, my wife won't cook with it because she's like, I don't want to have to clean it every single time after I'm done. And it's hard. She thinks it's hard. It's not, but it's just getting into that rhythm of seasoning your cooker, like heating it up, and then at the end cleaning it, and then seasoning it right when it is 250 degrees is what I do, and let it rest, and so. Yep. It's just intimidating.
It's kind of like what Jody's saying over here. She says she has a hard time cooking on her cast iron pans. Most people have a really hard time cooking on them because they don't let them heat up. Heating them up and then getting the infrared thermometer to read, awesome. Just to get your pan temp right. So like if you're cooking eggs, you want it to be a certain temp, or steak or whatever else. You want to make sure that pan is hitting the temperature you want before you put your cold food in there. So that's the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, is they just turn it on like a normal pan, get ready, and then throw it in there, and then it's toast. You have to give it time. Like
I cook strictly on cast iron, nothing else.
Yep.
Yeah. So. You need to think of it as that heats up. So the surface of your cast iron is very, very porous. As you heat it up, it becomes a little smoother. So if you were to dump an egg on there cold, that egg is going to get in all of those grooves, and it's going to bond with that cast iron. And when you heat it up, it's going to smooth out. So it's going to be more glass-like, and that egg's not going to stick, especially if there's that layer of oil, which is part of the seasoning process, which we cleaned our shop out today, and I found a Dutch oven that I got years ago, and it is not seasoned at all. And it is just raw, and it is like a grit 40 sandpaper. Like I was like, can we just throw this away? But if you do have something like that, you can sand it down, you can make it smooth, you can season it, you can make it work. But don't give up, for sure. Always, lean on the side of caution with a little extra cooking oil, peanut oil, extra bacon grease, those types of things. And that's going to help not be so frustrated with the cleanup process, because I think a lot of people get burned because they're like, forget this. This is a mess. I hate this. Because, it's messy if you do it wrong, for sure.
Yeah. And people need to remember too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just said what's kind of the hard part is people get frustrated cleaning them. Make sure you get the right tools. Like I got the chain cloth. I don't know what exactly it is, just the interlink chains. I use that, and it scrubs everything off. Mm-hmm. That's really difficult. If you get the right tools to clean it up, you'll be just fine too. So making sure you have the right stuff before you jump into it is huge.
Yeah. Jack, he went and did classes everywhere last year, and a lot of times he didn't have the sink to sit and scrub the cast iron. But what did you find that you absolutely loved, Jack?
I use kosher salt. I just fill that thing full, not fill it, but I just put a good coating on the bottom of kosher salt, rub it in. That salt's also going to help preserve, inside those pores. And it worked awesome. I loved it.
Well, and even putting that salt in there, letting it sit overnight and scrubbing it out the next day, it was as though that food had loosened up a bit, and you just scrubbed it, dumped it. And it was smooth as glass on some of those. It was awesome.
Yeah. It was actually like I'd soaked it, and I was cooking some nasty stuff. I was doing me and Caitlin developed this drunken potato recipe, and I always get credit for it. Sorry, Caitlin, but Caitlin was there when I
whatever. No, we were like, let's throw some of this in. Sure, let's do this. And then we're like,
you guys were drinking a little, huh?
So good.
Yeah, it was literally 5 minutes before class. We were developing this recipe,
and it was so good.
But it had cheese and everything in it. It stuck really bad. You'd coat it with salt, and it was just like you'd soaked it overnight. If you let it sit overnight, it just comes right off. It was crazy. But that's what I was going to say, Anthony, was to have the right tools. The other thing that I use a lot is those bench scrapers that you can use like on flat tops. They're wide enough. They're not going to pull the seasoning off, and they work really well. But the chainmail is probably my go-to one. Just don't use stainless steel scrubber.
Yeah.
It'll take it right down to bare metal.
Bare nothing.
Yep. That's
you
fun.
don't have to do that. I season mine after every single cook, but I do have
There
a
you go.
I do have a Camp Chef skillet. I did have my uncle sand it out.
Nice.
I do have it. It's a really smooth surface. And what I'll do is I'll cook. So I'll have it. It's already seasoned, so I'll cook in it. I'll turn the heat on low as I can while I'm prepping.
Yeah.
And then when I go, I'll turn it up just a little bit. I think people don't understand that you don't have to turn up your heat full heat. Even low will get it to 500 degrees if you want it to eventually. But I just keep it on low, and I keep get it really, really hot, and I cook on it. Again, with chicken too, like if you're cooking like a chicken, let's say, I think another thing is that people don't let it sit on one side long enough. And then if they, let it separate itself from it, and it's easier to flip, and it keeps it cleaner. But when I'm done, I will let it sit for a minute, and I'll get really hot water, a really, really hot water, as hot as I can get it. I don't boil it, out of my tap. I'll put it under when it's cooled down a little bit, so I'm not shocking it.
Yeah.
I'll let it sit there for maybe 30 minutes, and I'll do is grab a rag and go whoomp like that, and it usually wipes out pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then I'll turn my heat on low again. I'll set my timer for 20 minutes, and I'll come back and I'll put grapeseed oil in it, just a dime amount, and I'll wipe it in, and I'll let it rest on that. I'll turn the heat off and let it rest down. I do that. That's how I cook. That's my entire process, and it's all I cook right now. Scrambled eggs, omelets, flip it, never sticks, not once.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Jody, that probably answered your question. I was told to season it and cook it at 500 degrees for an hour and let the oven cook on its own with the cast iron in it. So that's a great method. Something that I like about having my Camp Chef gear is I can do the seasoning in my pellet grill. I can do it on my 2-burner versus letting that smoke up my house. Because if you've ever seasoned a cast iron in your house and you don't have a very high smoke point oil, it stinks up your entire house. And so doing it outside, that's the best way to go.
Yeah. And that smoke of your pellet grill is also going to help season it as well.
It will.
Touch on some oil. So if I use an olive oil to do this, is that a good olive oil to use for my Camp Chef? No,
the smoke point's too low.
So, and it goes rancid too fast too.
Yeah. Peanut oil.
They have their own spray. You guys have your own spray, don't you, that you use?
Yeah, I really like that spray. I actually use it in my cast iron. I use it in my pellet grill. Like when my smokers, anything that right before I get them and between uses, I'll spray it down with that oil and just season everything. All my grates, all my cast iron, flat tops.
It works really good. I burn through that stuff so fast. I need like a gallon pump,
Right?
My wife's always like, you need another one already?
Weed sprayer, like a weed sprayer of it. For real.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Oven things. Let's go into camping. So how I got into Camp Chef was my Explorer. And it's funny because I bought it to go camping, and I end up using that thing all the time. Like I use it for competitions. If you ever see me at a competition, you'll see my Explorer there. I'm heating sauces on it. I'm cooking ancillaries. I'm doing whatever I can on it. I'm cooking. I have it outside on my porch set up. It's, good to go. But for camping, man, just having that Explorer, having those Dutch ovens, having all that stuff, talk about some cool camping gear that maybe Camp Chef has that not a lot of people know about, or that they know about, or some popular stuff that you guys have when you go camping.
This gets me so excited because we've been camping in my backyard all week. Like it's spring break and we were supposed to go to Capitol Reef, but obviously no one's going anywhere. So we tried to make the most of it, and we've been camping in the backyard, cooking everything in the backyard. And that Explorer, I've got mine set up, and I have my Pro 60. They're both a 2-burner stove. On one of them, I've got my pizza oven, and on the other one, I've got a grill box. And we've cooked amazing food. Everything and anything under the sun, you can cook it. And Rusty, your 2-burner that you have, the grill box, you can put it on there. You can put the pizza oven right on there. You can make some fun things just with the additional.
Actually,
yeah,
and I put it on, it sits up, and I open it up, and I can grill on it. Yep, I have that.
It's amazing. Yeah, and that little sucker can get it's a 30,000 BTU output on those burners. You can get 750, 800 degrees, no problem. It's a great way. A lot of people that might have the Traeger are missing that sear. They want that hot sear. But there's a great option right there is to have that grill box with that 30,000 BTU. Sorry, I kind of getting sidetracked. But
No, you're good.
sorry, I'm like, oh, this got me so excited. But no, we've been able to cook anything and everything. And like I said, yesterday we did chicken Alfredo. We boiled the noodles. We made the Alfredo. We did the garlic bread in the pizza oven. You know, I made the green beans, all of it. It's just an extension of my kitchen, but I prefer it because it doesn't stink up my house and make a mess.
Right. I'm gonna take a little shot at you there though, but the Traeger Ranger, I threw some grill grates on there and I got it up to 520 degrees, so I can sear on my Traeger.
Yes, that's good.
so
That's
so
good.
that's for all my Traeger fans out there.
Yeah. How many have one of those though, right?
Yeah, everybody go get a Ranger.
Yeah.
No, but my favorite, don't quote me on this, but I think it is a Camp Chef product, but is the tripod that you can put over a hot
Oh
eye.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is like my favorite accessory that I have because you can adjust the chain level to up and down over a fire, and I kind of feel like I'm in the Old West when I use it.
Yeah, what isn't that called, like the Mountain Man? I
Yeah,
think
so it's the Mountain Series Lumberjack.
Yeah.
They got a great big huge aluminum pan that's super light. That's really fun to use on fire. That one's a lot of fun. I like that one a lot.
I have the over the fire grill. I have that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that one's fun.
But
But
like you said, Kendall said he can't go camping out of his Explorer stuff. I'm the same way. It's like
Yeah.
I honestly feel like if I had to choose between that and the tent, I might choose that because
You can sleep in the back of the car.
I'll cook on Dutch oven a lot. I cook on Dutch oven often. But man, I love that for breakfast, waking up in the morning, and that's my favorite part, man. Just firing that thing up, putting my coffee, and have it simmer, and then cooking up some bacon and sausage. That's what for me
man.
that's the best part of camping. The best part.
So cool.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you a story. This is really what got me excited about cooking outdoors. Is that right? Can I tell you a story?
Heck yes.
Yeah.
Please do.
So I'm 15 years old, right? And my father had just passed away when I was 14, and I was the youngest of 6, and so I didn't get to do a lot of hunting and camping with him. But by that time, they're kind of done doing that kind of stuff. And so my brother takes me out camping. Actually, we went hunting. We were up at about 10,000 feet, right on that level of tree line level, and it was just awesome up there. And the next morning, I wake up and I can smell bacon and eggs, and I can hear it sizzling out there. And I'm just like, open up the tent, and I'm like, just blown away that you can cook on a fire. I mean, at that time it was like this, light goes on. It's like, what? You can cook over fire? It's just so interesting to me that I mean, we've been cooking over fire for millions of years,
Right?
It's like this new thing comes out, and how cool is that? Just to be able to go out, just build a fire, cast iron pan. I had a good buddy of mine. His dad would take him out every year, and they would take a cast iron pan and a 22, and they would see how long they could stay out there.
That's
And,
awesome.
and it's just so cool. I mean, just so cool that you don't need a whole lot. You just need some good cast iron.
Listen, kids out there, boil your water because some of us on here has tried that and got giardia. Be very, very careful.
Yeah. There's that. Well, you got a cast iron pan, boil your dang water.
Yeah.
Boil your water. That's what started me too, man. When I was a kid, we go hunting, and I go hunting with my uncles. I just thought I was the coolest kid on the block, man. And you just wake up, you smell it, and cooking. And it was the best.
I was thinking back to my childhood too. Every year we would go up to Idaho, in Lemhi, Idaho. It's near Salmon, off like by the Salmon River, and we would camp for a full week. And that smell of breakfast, Dutch oven style, like there's nothing like it. We can all relate to that, that warm feeling. It's the best. Something that is super underrated and probably not a lot of people know about, but the Dutch oven dome that Camp Chef has is phenomenal. Like, I can do my Mississippi pot roast in my square Dutch oven on my 2-burner when I'm camping. And the Dutch oven dome, it's like this little, little house. Yeah, it's a Kevlar little foldable house that you put over your cast iron, so it creates a convection dome within it, and so you can bake bread, you can do like a slow cooker crock pot kind of a thing, but in your Dutch oven while you're camping. And it's amazing because your heat source is from the bottom, but when you're wanting to do bread, you need that browning on top. That Dutch oven dome gives you that opportunity. And I mean, they're $20 or something. I gave one to everyone for Christmas. They're
I didn't
so
get one.
cool. Oh, I'm so sorry, family. Sorry.
And that's what's cool too is you can get them with a steel plate. So there's a steel plate that goes over the top of your burner with a trivet. That way you can really, you got the diffuser, you got the trivet, then you got the dome, and you can really make your adjustments. And
Oh, this is so
Yeah.
much fun. I'm looking at it right now on the website.
Yeah, I've got a couple pictures of me cooking with it, camping last year on my Instagram and on my Facebook. But it's like your Mississippi pot roast is amazing, right? And then when you're cooking it out in Mother Nature, and then it's the best.
Man, there's nothing
It's so
better.
good.
Nothing
It's
better.
true. It's awesome.
That's what's really
Yeah.
cool. You asked
Brian wants
me.
to take
You asked me, what kind of things that Camp Chef has that we that we wouldn't know about, and man, there's just so much I wouldn't even be able to start. But the cool thing is you can pick your own style, and that's where I really try to stress to a lot of people. We all don't have to cook the same way. In fact, I don't want people to cook like me. I want them to develop their own style, and Camp Chef has all those products that you can do it. I mean, just set it up how you like it and what works for you. That's what cooking's all about, really. But
I really like Camp Chef too because it gives me the versatility of some stuff that I cannot do on my other
Exactly.
grills. Like that whole deep frying process. Being able to get that burner and being able to deep fry is awesome. And then like just the options that you can, because you can put a big old stock pot on these things too as well, and you can make a soup or anything outdoor cooking. Like it's really difficult to do on even on a Camp Chef smoker. It doesn't matter what kind of cooker you have, to be able to do a big stock of soup is there's only leaves you one option. You need the burner. And it's
gotta have that burner.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like my favorite pellet grill I have out there has the Sidekick attached to it, because I can go from smoking at 160 degrees to searing it all in one motion on my Sidekick at 800 plus degrees, like on one unit. I love having that burner attached to my pellet grill.
I did Instagram stories. I don't know if it was, I can't remember this week's, but maybe it was yesterday or the day before.
What day is it? I don't even know.
I don't even know. We did eggs Benedict on the pellet grill. And so we did everything. We did the English muffins. We did the hollandaise sauce. I smoked the ham on it and did pulled ham for the ham. We boiled eggs on it. We did the poached eggs on there. I mean,
there's nothing you can't cook.
There's nothing you can't cook. I haven't come across anything that I can't do. And that's what's really awesome about it. That's what makes me excited.
Yeah.
Is that I do have, and this is important. One of my favorite things on an Explorer is my flat top griddle.
Yeah.
And I started out with the smaller one, and just do yourself a favor, just get the big one.
Just get the double burner. Yeah.
And I use that thing all the time. And now that that's nice and seasoned in, man, that's my favorite thing. My old house, I used to just put it on my stove at home and cook off it. You can put it on the burner, boom, perfectly, and you still have one burner on one side and that small one. But I have the big one now. But before, I have a question. There's a 3-burner one. Does it fit on the 2, and then you still have a burner left with that big one? Do you guys know?
So on the 3-burner, the 3-burner is a different system. That's the 16-inch system, so it's going to be deeper than your. And the 2 burners are a 14-inch system.
Got it.
And so you have to change up a little bit.
Well,
so
that's how I cooked some sweet Philly steak cheese on the flat top.
Yes.
Yeah,
man, they came out. That flat top burner is where it's at. And Jack, I think you have a little bit of news for Rusty, because he's super jealous of mine. I don't know why.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Why are you jealous, Rusty?
Jealous of your burner, your flat top?
Yeah, my flat top.
Because I want one, and I want to get I want to get one of those because for competitions and cooking and stuff like that. I never thought I'd ever want one. And I got one on my stove. I have in my kitchen. We got one and just it's built into the stove,
Oh,
and that's all.
Jack and I've been talking about you getting one, so I don't know. What do you think, Jack?
Look on.
I can't see you, Anthony.
Oh, did you
Go
lose
down
me?
and go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Go check my most recent picture that I did, and we have our 6-burner out there. That 6-burner is a dream. Oh, Anthony's gone. Where'd he go?
Oh no,
Thank
I
the
messed
Lord.
everything up.
Oh my god! Oh,
Welcome back.
Am I back?
that was a great 30.
I don't know.
Yeah, that 6-burner, like I have neighborhood parties and I will do like fried rice on that, or I'll do fajitas or the Philly cheesesteaks. I like to smoke my cut up beef before, then I slice it up really thin. I do it with the bell peppers, onions, and then as I finish it off, I fold in the cream cheese into the smoked meat that's sauteed up. It's insane. And I can do like 40 pounds at a time. And trust me, I have. No.
Man,
A lot.
we've been doing something really fun with our flat top, and Kendall's. Did you see that comment of Kendall? The easy bake oven, Pillow Girls with the easy bake oven
Yeah.
for adults. Heck yeah! Woo.
I own
Wow,
it.
Yeah.
I spent enough time stoking a fire. I'm all right.
I'm all right. But he said he loves his Traeger, so he's got one.
Yeah, Kendall's awesome. He actually came to one of my classes. Him and his wife, great people. We became great friends.
I love
great
it.
Great dude. That's what's so cool about this whole industry, and being out and talking to people is just, man, everybody's just so awesome. And I totally lost track of what we were talking about, but
Yeah.
Squirrel.
Other flat cookers. Yeah.
Yeah, just
So-
talking about the 6-burner. I didn't know you guys freaking had a 6-burner. I'm trying to find it. Now.
The-
I don't want.
the-
I have to have. I don't know. I shouldn't be looking at these things.
So the 6-burner is amazing, but the 4-burner, I love the 4-burner because it's a flat top on top, and you can take the flat top off and have a grill under it. The 4-burner is awesome.
yeah, that's really cool.
So I know I really like the 4-burner, but they've just come out with a new series. In like the last month, Jack?
Yeah, this is the portable 600.
Those
And,
are phenomenal.
Yeah, so it breaks down, legs fold up. That one's sick. It's
That
really
one is super cool. So the 600 is going to be a 4-burner, but it's going to be more portable than like the one you see in my picture on my page. That's a very, very, stationary. It's not something I'm going to put in the back of my car and take camping. It's like staying in the backyard.
I don't know. Mine's got probably 10,000 miles on it.
I was going to say, I've loaded that sucker up in the trailer and we've taken it. We cooked for the EMTs and the paramedics and the firefighters and the evacuees. We've done lots of cooking with it.
Lots of
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. A super fun thing we've been doing with the flat top is doing a Mongolian grill party.
oh, cool.
It's so awesome. It's so much fun. People are absolutely loving doing those. So that's a
Candy
great.
corn for shrimp in someone's mouth.
Yeah.
Me, I suck.
That's not Mongolian. That's not Mongolian. Never mind, I got it wrong. It's a legitimate question.
Teppanyaki.
That's like,
Yeah, that's a
because when you're like think and you get you've arrived. You should write a book.
I need to get I need to get better spatula skills. That's for sure.
There we go. Yeah,
it's not
Mongolian.
Mongolian cooking, it's hibachi. Isn't it hibachi cooking, not Mongolian cooking? Get it right, Rusty.
I just admitted my mistake, sir.
I gotta take a shot when I can.
So I'm looking at these burners. Like I said, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm off. I need to get off this thing. Oh my god.
I told you it's better than a jewelry catalog for me.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, I love the website because there's so much. There's so much stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I need that. Yep, I need that
Well,
too.
actually, it's funny because I'm going through and go, oh, I already have that. Oh, I didn't know I had. Oh, I have that outside.
Exactly. Something last summer, me and my family, we made a goal to see as much parks as we could. We went to Bryce Canyon. We went to Zion's. We went to Arches. We were in Kanab. We went camping everywhere. And we camped at a lot of RV parks because we got our trailer. We wanted the hookups because we have kids and stuff. And it was so fun to walk around the parks and see all of the other people out there cooking on their Camp Chefs. And you could see and feel the sense of pride as they're sitting there cooking their meal. They're like, I'm doing this. I'm cooking my food. And like we've camped, all over. And it's almost like you see them and you're like, what's up? What's up? Like, we're buddies.
Your immediate family, right?
I know, you're like, what's up? And I honestly, I bring a stash of Camp Chef hats with me when we've gone camping, and I'll go up to these people and be like, what's up? And I'll give them a hat, and they're just like, what the crap are you doing? And I'm just like, we're friends now.
You know what's funny about that? When I'm in the truck and the trailer, in the van and trailer, I have given more hats away at gas stations because every time I pull into a gas station, everybody comes running and tells me their Camp Chef story, and it's so cool, so cool.
It is
I love
cool.
hearing those stories. It's my favorite thing that is on the planet.
Exactly, and I feel like people relate to their Camp Chef experiences as something good because food brings joys and it brings smiles and it brings togetherness. And so when we're sitting around the campfire or we're making dinner while we're camping, those are good memories. It's not a time of struggle or frustration. It's a time of like, yeah, this is awesome. So it is like the family feel for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
Let's actually talk a little bit about the cooking process. I'll start it off. Just let's hit up one of your favorite recipes that's quick and simple that people can learn on. Mine is actually like a Dutch oven breakfast. So what I do is I'll take some sausage, some bacon, kind of get that like halfway cooked, throw in some hash browns, stir that all together, crack some eggs, scramble those up, throw it in there for a little bit, and I'm letting that cook for 10-15 minutes, and then I take the pre-made biscuits already, put those on the top, close the lid, let it cook for like 35-40 minutes, and then just scoop it out. It's super easy. Awesome. It's fun and it's tasteful, just it has a nice little twist on it too. So that's my favorite go-to because it's one, it's simple, 3, it's fast. I missed two there, but
it's filling and everybody enjoys it, and they can dress it up how they want to. Add salsa, add cheese, whatever. Eat it how you want. Yeah. That's a good one. Jack, you go.
I think one of my favorite things to do is German pancakes.
Yeah.
Breakfast has always been big at my house because we're always so busy, and by the time I get home at nights, we're eating top ramen. I've cooked all day. I'm not going to cook anymore. And so breakfast is always big at our house. And German pancakes in a cast iron pan, in a pellet grill. Oh man, it's what my kids always choose for their birthday breakfast. So yeah, super easy. I use a 14-inch pan. It's going to have 9 eggs in it. It's going to have a cup and a half of flour, a cup and a half of milk, a cube of butter. And then I don't put any salt in the mixture. Put it in the sizzling pan, and then I'll top it with the salt. And I like to use flake salt or kosher salt. And then brown or powdered sugar and real maple syrup on top of that.
Real maple.
Yeah. Rest of you go because I know as soon as Caitlin goes, everybody's gonna need a pen and paper. So rest of you go real quick, and everybody grab their pen and paper.
I got Kent Rowland's first book, and I started cooking through it.
I love it.
I try and cook through all of it. I made it a little over halfway, and I made a pizza. He has in there, and it's my favorite thing to make. It's so good. My specialty so happens to be biscuits and gravy. So I love to make biscuits and gravy on it. It's probably the funnest thing to make biscuits in a Dutch oven. It's probably my most rewarding thing was being able to, for the first time, I made good biscuits on a Dutch oven and in camping, so that was super fun. And then I love to make I just use cream and I make a roux real quick and throw some 2 cups of milk in there. Well, so tablespoon of butter, tablespoon of flour. That's my roux. Mix it up until it's a blonde. Maybe I'll go a little dark on it. And then I'll put 2 cups of milk in there, and then salt and pepper to taste just a little bit. Get it thick, and I'll put in fresh sage, which is my favorite thing to put in there, and then Tabasco sauce. And that, to me, the Tabasco sauce was really what makes it. It's pretty simple: salt and pepper, sage, and Tabasco sauce over what do they call them now? Biscuits. It's like my favorite thing to cook. Here. Oh, the sausage. I cooked the sausage in the pan. I forgot to say. I make the roux with
Have
that.
the drippings. Yeah.
That's the most important part. I'm sorry. That is the most important part. And then I make the sauce in where I cooked the sausage, and then I re-add the sausage after all that. And then
To
you
get
want
those
to.
drippings, yeah.
One thing is make sure you add the salt, the finishing salt, after you put in the sausage, because the sausage could add a lot of salt and you can over
For
salt.
sure.
Be
Good
careful.
point.
And then so it's so good, and I can eat it now. I'm not doing keto.
Vegan.
Yeah.
Do you use the
Heck
coarse
yeah.
pepper? Just curious.
What's that?
You use the
Always.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
if
I've
not, I
told
use a
people-
cafe brand.
I've told people use pepper, and I forget to tell them to use coarse pepper. They use regular pepper. They're like, it was way too peppery.
I don't know if it matters necessarily. I just like the coarse pepper. I love pepper though. People are like,
Oh,
it seems pepper. I'm over here eating like peppercorns. That's how
Crunching down on peppercorns.
Hey, Rusty, I want to hear about your biscuits methods, because everybody's got their tricks on biscuits.
Well, I think that the trick for me is I freeze my butter. And I actually, when I'm not at home, I'll use the blender, and I don't mix it myself. So I'll put all the the flour, the baking soda, and the baking powder, and then I'll put the butter in, frozen in chips, and I'll chip it up with my knife.
Nice.
And that's how I add it.
Have you ever done a cheese grater for your butter?
No,
I-
there you go.
Yeah.
Even better.
There you go.
Yeah, I freeze butter and I grate it on top of the blueberry French toast casserole that I do. And that's the one I was going to talk about. The blueberry French toast casserole is one that I love doing in either my square Dutch oven or my oblong. And I've got the recipe. It's posted in actually Cutco has posted it on their blog as well. It's such a tasty one. But I love this one because it was one Sunday morning and everyone wanted a yummy brunch, breakfast kind of thing. And I'm like, I've got rolls. I don't have bread, so we can't do French toast. And I was like, let's wing it with this French toast casserole. And I always like to use like heavy cream or half and half, but I didn't have any. But I had this Southern butter pecan coffee creamer. And so I ended up using, I had all my kids, like they ripped all of the rolls up, and I think I even had hot dog buns. I had all of this leftover bread. And so they ripped it all up, and I made this concoction with the coffee creamer, the brown sugar, vanilla, and the eggs, and put it over it, threw a bunch of extra blueberries in there. Chad knows, he's tried it. And then I grated the butter on top of it with a little extra, the brown sugar. And it was phenomenal. And I've done it on the news, and I've done it for a couple different places. And I've had awesome feedback from it. And it's awesome because it was something that was just in my cupboard, and I was able to create it and make it into like, holy cow, that was awesome. And I love that recipe because
It
it's
looks awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Do you-
Yeah.
That's such a
do you
good
keep
recipe.
it
I gotta
overnight,
try
or do you just make it that day? Do you do it night before, or do you put it?
it's not one that needs to sit overnight. You just dump it in, pop it in, and it's good to go. By grating that extra butter on the top, you're ensuring that everything's going to be nice and flavored and have people are like, oh, so it's like a bread pudding. It's not, because it's not the water bath technique. It's just a bake, a French toast casserole bake. But in the pellet grill, it's amazing. So you can take that same concept and you can go savory. So instead of doing sweeteners and coffee creamers, get your heavy cream, your eggs, your milks, and add in cheese and peppers and your sausage and make a savory French toast casserole.
Can you do that over live fire by chance? Because if you need a lid, I'm just curious, because that sounds like something to be fun to when
Oh,
you're
man.
camping and do over the
Oh, for
live
sure.
fire.
That would be incredible.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
could. I'm sure you could. You wouldn't
Just
want to
because
go
you're-
too hot.
You don't
You-
keep yours at 400.
Just no lid, probably too.
yeah.
No lid, probably on
Yeah.
that. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I say
There's
try it. I would probably
Yeah.
lit it and then put some hot coals on top of the lid so that it's ensuring that the top also gets baked, just as though you're doing charcoals or briquettes or something.
Yeah.
But it's a super easy one. You get your kids involved to help make it, and they feel like, they have a lot of ownership in that as well. And they love ripping up the bread or chopping up the bread or whatever it is. And it comes together pretty easy. Yeah.
Sweet.
Those are the best. All the
Yeah.
I'm glad I ate a sandwich before. These conversations, man.
Right? I'm so
I
hungry right
know.
now. I got dinner planned already, and
Those casseroles are so freaking good. They're unbelievable. And I do a buttermilk syrup in the morning, so I'll do
Oh yeah.
a cup of sugar and 1 thing of butter, and then I'll melt that down with a 3/4 of a tablespoon or a cup of buttermilk. And then when it gets real good, I'll put a teaspoon of vanilla and then a half a teaspoon of baking soda, and it makes
Get it bubbly. Yeah.
really foamy. And you put it over your
Oh man.
all that stuff. Even my biscuits, it's good. With good pancakes, it's good. It's
so your
the
one
best.
thingy of butter is a stick of butter, right?
Half
We go through a lot of butter at this house too. There's no shame.
Yeah, no shame. I love butter.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. So,
Yeah, I gotta go turn my kitchen lights on real quick. It's getting dark on me. Give me 1 second.
Oh man. So
yeah,
So Caitlin, let's talk about what you've been got going on. You've been camping in your backyard, and I've been seeing some awesome meals on there. Are a lot of those online, or are you just kind of freestyling those? How can we? Because those are hard to kind of follow through pictures, but
A lot of them are freestyle. Like, hey,
Okay.
I made this. Grilled cheese. That's not hard to figure one out.
right.
I'm trying to think.
actually, it is regular hot grilled cheese. That's actually
Yeah.
a thing.
Actually, to melt the cheese and not burn the bread is actually
You got to go low.
Well, you
heat.
could,
It's all about
yeah, 275.
And
Yeah.
so, like on my flat top, I have got 6 burners, and I will have a zone where I don't even turn it on. So if I see that it's cooking a little too fast, I slide it over onto the no heat zone, and then it's still warm so that cheese can melt or whatnot. But I like to play the no heat zone. That always seems to help. Or when something finishes and we're not quite ready, it slides over. The eggs are done. They can stay over here, the hash browns or whatever. My husband loves McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. And so he is like the master of making his own. Everything from
I won't argue with him.
toasting them. Yeah, he loves to toast the bun and make the eggs. And, we like fresh sausage. Then we just hand form our own patties. And then, of course, top it with a little Valentina or whatever and make it awesome. But, they're so much better than McDonald's, obviously.
Yeah.
You're not sick the rest of the day.
American
right.
cheese
I
is
agreed.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other things that we've cooked. So what we've done with camping is I have 5 kids, and I've let each of them choose this is your day. What activities do you want to do today? What do you want for lunch, and what do you want for dinner? And so it's been all based around what they want out of it. And so it's been like the first day, my daughter's like, I want chicken and banana bread. And I was like, right on. And we can do that. And, the next day, oh, I want chicken and banana bread too. No, well, let's do something different. Hamburgers. They love hamburgers. And I don't know, just trying to keep things fun.
So that's how you get your kids to eat. I need to write that down.
Yeah.
Well, when they are more invested in it, whether that's by helping or making that choice, I feel like they're so much more proud of that meal, and they're like, I made this. And they're just like, yeah, I did this. Like last night, I did the Instagram takeover for Camp Chef yesterday, and I did from beginning to end of the chicken Alfredo meal. And Mason, it was his day yesterday, and he said, I really want to make chicken Alfredo. And I was like, done, let's do it. And so we filmed it all, we uploaded it all. And when he sat down to eat that meal last night, he's like, I made this. I did this. And he was so proud of himself. And he like, as every bite he took, he's like, that turned out really good, huh? I did that. Yeah, I did that. I was like, you did. Yeah. Like, and guess what? It wasn't, that moment is not just going to be right then for him in his life. It's going to be something that he remembers when he's at college, or it's going to plant that seed like it did for you, Jack, when you were in the mountains with your brother, you know? And those are the experiences that you get to create.
Yeah, it's a funny story because I really attribute my love for cooking from that. I'm probably 6 years old, maybe 7 years old, and our tradition every Sunday night was to make popcorn and orange juice, and we'd watch the Disney Channel. And
That's awesome.
Not the Disney Channel because we didn't have that back then, but the Disney show on the network. And everybody would say, Jack needs to make the orange juice. He makes the best orange juice ever.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought I really actually did. You know, they were just telling me that so I would go do it. But but you know, I think from that, you know, I really developed my love for, you know, for cooking. You know, I mean, that's really, we've got to figure out why you love to cook, because quite honestly, cooking's kind of a pain in the butt. But
I know.
why do we do it?
It does get tiring every once in a while. Yeah. But the reward at the end of it, seeing how happy everybody is, that's where you get the win.
Exactly.
Man, creating those smiles. It's all about the smiles.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned from Jack. It's like you're creating those layers of flavor, but the most important thing is creating the smiles. And it's what it's all about.
Yeah. It really is. You know, you don't have to make the perfect food. You really don't. I mean, I get so tired of, hey, this is how you make the perfect whatever, brisket, steak. You know what? There's 1,000 ways to make a perfect thing. You know, the most perfect meal I think I ever cooked was probably, you know, something we had as a family. I probably burned it and it wasn't that good, but there's the memory they have behind it. And that's what it's all about. So, don't stress about making something perfect.
Yeah.
You know, just get out there and have fun.
If the family enjoys it, that's a win. You know, simple as that.
It is.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it's all about it's about memories for me too. When I was growing up, cooking with my grandma, and you know, out of the garden, and everything we made was from, you know, within the house, like Piedmontese and garden, and everything was from the farm, and you had to cook with what you had all the time. And it's funny because I'm not really great at that, and that's what my family was so great at. But it was just those meals. That's all I remember is when I look back, go, oh, dinner at grandma's, dinner here, and when we cooked this, and that's the best times.
It's just little things that stick with you as from a kid to grown up too. You know, my uncle, I was over there, just a family barbecue, and I was like, hey, I want to flip the burgers, and I was over there struggling. You know, I was like 12 years old, and he's like, you always use your spatula with the grates and then flip it. And I was like, oh, okay. And that kind of stuck with me forever, you know, like when it stuck, and I was just like, oh, and now I show my son flip with the grates, you know. It's just a little comment when you're cooking for your children and they're helping you, just you'll teach them something that they'll remember for their entire life.
Yep. Cooking ramen noodles and just taking all the juice out and feeling like a rebel, you know, and adding the packet to the noodles without the water. Look what I've done.
You know, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You know, you gotta make those mistakes. When we had the pizzeria, we had a wood-fired oven, and it was ultra thin. Mama Julie just did amazing dough and sauce, and then we did some really super creative pizzas, and people would come in and say, hey, how'd you learn how to do this? Did you go to Italy? And I'm like, I can't afford to go to Italy. And they're like, well, you must have learned in New York. And I'm like, I've never been to New York either. Been there since, but you know, and they're like, well, how'd you learn how to do this? And I says, I burned a hell of a lot of pizza. And you know, and I still burn. You know, I've cooked over 50,000 pieces, I figured, and I still burn them. So you know what? You just get in there, try it, have fun with it.
It's like Chris Lilly told us in this last podcast that we just had. It's like I learned by 1,000 piles of ash. You know,
it's true.
That episode will be available next week, by the way. Just quick plug.
Yeah, that was a pre. Well, cool guys, we should wrap this up. We've been gone over the hour, but it's been really cool. Just so you guys know, going to Camp Chef, just be careful. Keep your. What I would do is take your wallet and lock it in your neighbor's house, and then.
Hey, Rusty. Though one thing before we leave.
Sure.
You know, I'm kind of embarrassed that you're on there to having to look at all this stuff online. So once you run over to Anthony's house and go touch it, fill it in person, and then load it up in your truck and bring it home.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah, we got
do
one over. We got one over sitting over for you at Anthony's house. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to hook you up, brother.
I'm
So-
legit pumped about that
Yeah.
because I really want one. Ask the wife. Say, you're not getting that right now. You're not stop.
Dude, you're gonna
Just-
love it. The
Yeah.
flat tops are amazing, especially
Yeah.
your restaurant background. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've
Oh,
been
man.
planning this for you, Rusty. So
Oh, I'm
we thought we'd
pumped.
do it on a live for you.
Super cool, man. I
Yeah.
really just, like. I'm like pumped. Like that is.
He's like,
so
I gotta go. I gotta get in the car. Go.
Wait a
active,
minute.
Mike, for tomorrow. No, that's really cool. Thanks, guys. That's so awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, I just appreciate what you guys are doing on here. This is amazing what you do, and we appreciate everything that you do. So
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. And again, it's always nice to have you guys on. It's always nice to talk to you, Jack. A lot of information, guys. Hop on, check out those videos on their page.
Yep.
Watch Jack's lives. I watch them all the time. I learn a lot from that too. Some really cool stuff, all the way from the basics, to a little bit like you made mustard recently, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Something like that.
go check out the smoked mustard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So there's,
actually
like, a little thing like
surprised
that.
I gave up that recipe, but there it is.
Right? That was locked in the vault.
You can follow Caitlin on Caitlin's.
Yeah, let's touch-
and
Let's
you
go
can
through all that real quick.
the freaking thing you were posted yesterday. You just post so much stuff that's super inspiring. I always want to make it. So if you guys ever want to go and make some really cool stuff, follow her too. You also do videos
Oh.
with Camp Chef too. So
Yeah.
So you can follow us at the pitmasterspodcast.com. Jax, go ahead and tell them your plug-in. Jack.
You can follow me at chef.papajack on Instagram or Carlisle Culinary on Facebook.
There you go, Caitlin.
Yeah, and I'm Kate's Meats and Mills. You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram and my little web page. That's a whole lot of nada, but it's kind of there. And my link tree's got tons of fun recipes. I love to share, and I love when people make it. Like Kendall right there, Kate's apple dip's amazing. I love to see people using those recipes and creating their own. And Rusty, you had said, I posted something. I've got a challenge. Whoever makes those bacon bangles and posts them sometime in this month of April, I'm going to choose a random winner and send them a fun prize package.
yeah,
Because
man.
I want to see people creating things that they go, I can't make that. Guess what? Yes, you can. Go and try something fun and something new.
And it looks intimidating. Like I said, it's gonna look like someone ran it over because I'm not. Oh man, what I'm gonna do? It's gonna be super fun.
Yes, do it.
But again, thanks for that, guys. That surprise is super cool. I'm really happy about it.
You deserve it, man.
Thanks,
Yeah.
brother. And yeah, guys, take care. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight. And we'll do this again next week, and we'll have a new little something we all can take from and learn from. And thanks for watching, guys. We really
Love it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
See you, everybody.
Bye. And hang on, sorry guys, I'm learning.